All right, let's dive right into this explainer and unpack what is frankly a massive, highly dramatic excerpt from the Mahabharata's Sisupala Parva. Now, if you're already familiar with the epic, you know that the moments right before major conflicts break out are usually where the absolute deepest philosophical truths are revealed. So we aren't just looking at a room full of angry royals today. We're actually looking at a total masterclass in ancient political tension, cosmic destiny, and, well, the illusion of human control. Let's break down exactly how this text maneuvers us from a scene of total human chaos right up into the serene, terrifying machinery of the divine.
Just picture the sheer visceral tension in this room for a second. We are dropped immediately into a vast assembly of kings, and they are just completely agitated with wrath. And the text doesn't just say they're mad, right? It goes way further. It compares them to the terrific sea agitated by the winds that blow at the time of the universal dissolution. I mean, that is an apocalyptic level of rage. You can almost hear the shouting, the clashing of egos, the sheer volume of hundreds of monarchs who've just had their pride seriously provoked. It is a volatile, dangerous powder keg, and it is ready to blow at a moment's notice.
So that brings us to a pretty immediate practical problem. How exactly do you calm an ocean of angry kings? Seriously, think about it. This isn't just a fun rhetorical exercise. When you have the absolute most powerful military leaders of the known world gathered in one single place, and they are vibrating with this kind of world-ending rage, a single wrong move literally means total war. The entire structure of peace is just threatening to crack right down the middle, and somebody has to figure out how to de-escalate a situation that feels completely beyond human control. Right in the middle of all this overwhelming chaos, our focus shifts over to King Yudhishthira. And what's interesting is, he doesn't panic, but he is deeply, deeply concerned. He asks a very simple, very earnest question. What should I do? And he directs this to Bhishma, the aged, highly intelligent grandsire of the Kurus. Yudhishthira realizes he's completely out of his depth here. He needs wisdom that goes way beyond standard political maneuvering. He needs the perspective of someone who has actually survived generations of royal warfare and giant ego clashes. You see, Yudhishthira is dealing with two very specific, very grounded anxieties here. It's a profound leadership dilemma. On the one hand, he's terrified of the obstruction of his great sacrifice, which is this sacred cosmic duty he is absolutely bound to complete. But on the other hand, he fears for the physical safety and the well-being of his own subjects. He's basically trying to balance the demands of heaven with the gritty realities of earth. Because if this assembly breaks out into violence, his religious obligations are completely ruined, and his innocent people are the ones who are going to suffer the collateral damage. And this is where Bhishma comes back with just an absolutely masterful response. Instead of handing over some tactical military plan, Bhishma completely flips the perspective of the threat. He tells you to stress, hey, don't look at these furious, terrifying kings as some destructive ocean. They are basically just a pack of barking dogs. And who are they barking at? A sleeping lion. That sleeping lion is Achyuta, of the Vrishni race. Instantly, Bhishma de-escalates the panic in the room by radically resizing the players. The kings are loud, sure, they're making a lot of noise, but ultimately, they are just harmless dogs yapping at a predator that happens to be resting. Bhishma actually goes a step further here, explaining the whole illusion of power that's playing out. The chief of the Chettis, Sisupala, is the one leading this mob. Now, he looks really powerful right now, and he's making his followers feel like lions themselves. But Bhishma points out that this is purely temporary. Sisupala only has this terrifying aura because the true lion is currently asleep. It is completely borrowed time and borrowed strength. Sisupala's dominance is essentially just an optical illusion, and it depends entirely on the inaction of the actual, real power in the room. So the absolutely crucial point here is understanding exactly who this sleeping lion actually is. The text refers to him as Achyuta, Vishnu, and Madhava. Bhishma anchors Yudhishthira, and really us as the audience, by reminding everyone of the ultimate theological reality here. We aren't just talking about a really strong warrior anymore. We are talking about the literal soul of the universe. This is the progenitor and the destroyer of all created beings across the three worlds. By explicitly defining the divine force at play, Bhishma shifts the entire conflict from a petty political squabble to a pure manifestation of cosmic will. I mean, let's be honest, you can't really sweat a bunch of barking dogs when the creator and destroyer of the universe is sitting right there. All right, let's look at how this builds into the theological core of the text. Because Bhishma reveals the actual cosmic machinery that's quietly humming beneath all this noise. Sisupala thinks he is the one in charge, right? He wants to lead these kings into battle, which Bhishma casually notes will just lead them straight to Yama, the god of death. But why is Sisupala acting this way in the first place? It's because Vishnu desires to take back the divine energy that currently exists inside Sisupala. To actually make that happen, Vishnu is actively making the intelligence of Sisupala and his followers perverse. So Sisupala isn't just a really angry guy. His destructive mindset is a direct symptom of divine intervention. His very thoughts are literally being shaped by the universe so that he will march straight toward his own predetermined destruction. But here is what is really fascinating. The text doesn't actually let us linger in that elevated, cosmic perspective for very long at all. Just as Bhishma finishes explaining this profound, unseen divine machinery that's dictating everyone's fate, the narrative violently snaps us right back to the immediate reality of the room. Sisupala hears Bhishma's speech, and, completely proving Bhishma's point about his perverse intelligence, does he back down? No way. He doubles down. He steps right up and delivers a fiery, stern, and rough retort to the aged grandsire. The human drama just resumes, completely and totally ignorant of the cosmic script it is unwittingly following. And that brings us to the ultimate takeaway from this brilliant passage. When you look at Sisupala raging away in that room, totally convinced of his own righteousness and his own power, you really have to wonder, are we the actual authors of our own anger, our own political movements, our own conflicts? Or are we, kind of like Sisupala and those kings, just players reading from a cosmic script we can't even see, driven by forces that are quietly orchestrating our every move? It is a fascinating, almost haunting look at fate, free will, and the illusion of power, and it definitely leaves you questioning the true nature of the events unfolding in our own lives.